Why did humans stand on 2 feet? The first revolution in 7 million years of human evolution. All right, what did we learn last time? Humanity was born in Africa. Why? Because the environment went absolutely crazy. Every 100,000 years, forest to desert, desert back to grassland. That hellish climate made us smart. Today, I'm going to ask an even more important question. When and why did humans start walking on 2 legs?
Is that really important? I mean, you just stand up, right?
Oh, wow. You just casually described something absolutely insane. Walking on 2 legs is, biologically speaking, completely nuts.
Nuts? Hey, I'm standing on 2 legs right now. What are you talking about?
Does your back hurt at all?
Yeah, actually. My disc has been…
Exactly. Lower back pain, knee arthritis, hemorrhoids, the agony of childbirth. All of it, every bit of it, is the price we pay for standing upright.
Then why'd we do it? We're not idiots.
That's today's question. Why did our ancestors stand up, even though it's so uncomfortable? The answer is way more complicated and way more interesting than you'd think. Let's imagine a chimpanzee. Chimps walk on all 4s. Super stable, right? They rest their knuckles on the ground. It's called knuckle walking.
Walking on their knuckles?
Yep, for a chimp it's perfect. Weight distributed across 4 limbs, stable, climbs trees easily, runs fast when needed. Now imagine one chimp decides, hey, I'm going to try standing on 2 legs.
Did it work out?
Nope, total disaster. The moment you stand on 2 legs, everything gets worse. First, you're slower. Chimps run 25 miles per hour on all 4s. On 2 legs, not even half that. Second, you're unstable. 4 legs down to 2 means you fall over easily. Third, all your weight shifts to your lower back and knees. Hello, herniated disc.
So why did they do it?
That's the question scientists have been fighting over for 7 million years. Well, metaphorically. And here's the fun part. There's no single answer. There are at least 7 major hypotheses for why bipedalism started. Today, I'll walk you through the most interesting ones. Hypothesis number 1, the savanna hypothesis. Old school scientists used to think Africa's forests disappeared and grasslands appeared, so humans stood up to see over the tall grass.
That makes sense.
It does, right? But there's a problem. When scientists dug up fossils, they found that early humans didn't live in open savannas.
Where'd they live then?
Mixed environments, what we call mosaic habitats. Trees, grasslands, wetlands, all mixed together. So the savanna made us stand up theory? Wrong.
So, that hypothesis is dead?
Pretty much. Since the 2020s, nobody believes it anymore. Hypothesis number 2, the carrying hypothesis. Now we're getting to the real contenders. We stood up to free our hands.
Our hands?
Think about it. When chimps walk on all 4s, they can't use their hands. Hard to carry stuff. But stand on 2 legs? Your hands are free. You can carry fruit, hold your baby, pick up rocks, transport meat. And that means you can think. Instead of eating this here, I'll bring it back to share with my family.
What's so great about that?
That's the beginning of society. Sharing food means cooperation. Cooperation makes the group stronger. A stronger group survives better. In fact, Duke University did an experiment. In 2023, they gave chimps objects to carry, and the chimps naturally stood on 2 legs. Free hands equals survival advantage.
So this is the answer?
Not so fast. There are other candidates. Hypothesis number 3, thermoregulation hypothesis. This one's pretty compelling. Standing upright reduces sun exposure.
Oh, only your head gets sunlight, so you stay cooler?
Exactly. When you're on all fours, your entire back is exposed to the sun. Standing up reduces heat absorption by about 30%. The problem is, it's unclear whether this is why we stood up or just a benefit of standing up after the fact. So, thermoregulation caused bipedalism? Maybe not. Bipedalism helped with thermoregulation? Probably. This hypothesis is now treated as a secondary benefit, not the main cause. Hypothesis number 4, energy efficiency hypothesis. This one's shocking. Scientists originally thought walking on 2 legs uses less energy than 4.
Isn't that obvious? Humans can walk way farther than chimps?
That's what everyone believed. But then, a bombshell study came out in 2018.
What happened?
They compared humans to 80 different mammal species. The result? Human walking efficiency is average. Nothing special.
Wait, seriously? We're not more efficient?
Nope, just average. In fact, human running is 27% less efficient than quadrupedal mammals.
So we didn't stand up to save energy.
Correct. After 2018, this hypothesis was basically abandoned. Energy efficiency wasn't why we stood up.
Then what was the reason?
It's complicated because multiple reasons overlapped. Hypothesis number 5, the arboreal-terrestrial compromise hypothesis. Finally, the cutting-edge hypothesis. In the 2020s, scientists reanalyzed fossils using advanced CT scans, especially Ardipithecus, a 4.4 million-year-old fossil.
What did they find?
They found the ankle bone, the talus. When they analyzed it in 3D, it looked just like a chimpanzee's.
What does that mean?
Ardipithecus was still really good at climbing trees. They could walk on 2 legs, but they still spent a lot of time in the trees.
So they were half standing, half climbing?
Exactly. Early humans lived 2 legs on the ground, 4 limbs in the trees. Scientists call this mosaic locomotion.
So they weren't fully upright yet?
Nope. Full bipedalism didn't happen until much later, around 2 million years ago with Homo erectus. Now, let's look at the evidence. We'll track how humans gradually stood up by examining the fossil record one by one. 7 million years ago, Tumai, or Sahelanthropus. The oldest fossil, Tumai, found in Chad in 2001. Only a skull was recovered.
No leg bones?
Nope. So there was huge controversy. But in 2022, a femur fragment was discovered.
So did they stand or not? Don't leave us hanging.
Scientists fought over it. 2022 paper. This femur shows bipedalism. 2024 paper. No way, this looks like a chimp. They didn't walk upright.
So what's the conclusion?
The conclusion is, we don't know. Scientists are still fighting over a single 7 million-year-old fossil. And then, 6 million years ago, Orrorin. Orrorin is more definitive. A femur from Kenya was CT scanned, and they found something called the calcar femoral.
What's that?
A bony structure inside the femur that helps support weight when standing upright. You need it for bipedalism.
So Orrorin definitely stood up?
Partially. They probably stood occasionally, but still climbed trees a lot. Then, 4.4 million years ago, Ardipithecus. This one's the key. Ardipithecus, nicknamed Ardi, had a complete skeleton published in 2009.
What's special about it?
The pelvis looks human. The ankle looks like a chimp's. The pelvis shape shows they could walk on 2 legs. But the ankle shows they could still climb trees. A 2025 study analyzed the talus in 3D and found it was perfectly adapted for vertical climbing. Ardi lived both on the ground and in the trees. That was their survival strategy.
Why not just specialize in one?
Because the environment kept changing. Sometimes there were lots of trees. Sometimes it was mostly grassland. To survive, you had to do both. Now finally the famous Lucy, found in Ethiopia, 3.2 million years old.
Lucy was fully upright, right?
Almost, but not perfectly. There's something called the Laetoli footprints, 3.66 million years old. Fossilized footprints left by Lucy's species.
Footprints survived. How? It's not like they stepped in wet concrete.
They walked on volcanic ash, which hardened into rock. Analysis of these footprints shows they walked like modern humans, but with slightly bent knees.
Why?
Their foot arches weren't fully developed yet. Their feet were softer than ours, so they had to absorb more impact with their knees.
So they walked, but kind of awkwardly?
Exactly. Scientists call this the transitional phase. It took a long time. Now finally, the finished product. 2 million years ago, Homo erectus, our direct ancestor.
What changed?
Everything. Longer legs, shorter arms. Body proportions identical to modern humans. And critically, they could run.
What's so great about running? Quadrupeds run fine.
Long-distance running. Humans are the best endurance runners among all mammals. Lions, cheetahs, horses, none can run as long as we can.
Really? I thought we were physically weak.
We can sweat to cool ourselves down. Other animals can't. They overheat and stop. Homo erectus used this ability for persistence hunting, chasing prey like antelope for hours until it collapsed from exhaustion. By 2 million years ago, we were fully bipedal. No more climbing trees. Ground dwelling only. If you've been paying attention, you've noticed something. There's no single answer. Bipedalism started around 7 million years ago. The transitional phase lasted 5 million years, and it wasn't complete until 2 million years ago.
5 million years just to walk on two legs?
Yep, an incredibly long time. What this tells us is that bipedalism didn't happen overnight. Early on, we stood to free our hands, carrying food, holding tools. Then the environment changed, forcing us to adapt to life on the ground. Later, we refined bipedalism to save energy and travel long distances. Eventually, we became capable of running. Modern scientists say bipedalism resulted from multiple overlapping factors. Now, one last important point. Standing up wasn't free.
What did we pay?
A huge price. First, lower back pain. On all fours, your spine is horizontal and weight is distributed. Standing up makes your spine vertical, concentrating all of the weight on your lower back.
So my back pain is because I walk on two legs?
Exactly. Human back pain is a side effect of bipedalism. Second, childbirth agony. To walk upright, the pelvis had to narrow, but brains kept getting bigger. Now you're trying to push a big head through a narrow pelvis. Childbirth became hell.
So that's why women suffer so much.
That's also why human babies are born so helpless. Most animals can walk right after birth. Humans, it takes a year. Why? Because we have to give birth before the head gets too big.
So bipedalism made parenting harder?
Absolutely. Third, slower speed. Chimps run 25 miles per hour. Humans, about 12 miles per hour. If a predator chases you, good luck outrunning it.
Then why stand up? The downsides seem worse.
Because our hands were free. We made tools with our hands, carried food with our hands, held babies with our hands, threw rocks with our hands. Ultimately, freeing our hands allowed our brains to grow. Let me wrap this up. Bipedalism began 7 million years ago. Multiple factors caused it. It evolved slowly over 5 million years. We paid a huge price for it. But in the end, it was the single most important change that made humans human.
If we never stood up, would we still be monkeys?
100%. If our hands weren't free, we couldn't make tools. Without tools, there's no reason for bigger brains. Without bigger brains, we'd still be sitting in trees eating fruit.
So standing up was the right call?
Yep, but your back pain? You'll just have to live with it.
You little.
Stop it. He's trying to wrap up. And my back hurts because you made my life hard. So hush.
Just remember this. Humans stood up and freed their hands. With free hands, they made tools. Tools led to bigger brains. Bigger brains led to world domination. Bipedalism wasn't just a posture change. It was humanity's first revolution. Next time, we're talking about fire.
Fire? You just light a match, right?
Humans first controlled fire 1 million years ago. But we didn't start cooking until 275,000 years ago.
Wait, why did it take so long?
That's exactly what we'll cover next time. Why didn't humans cook for 700,000 years? We had fire, but no cooking. So, what did we use it for? And when cooking finally started, what happened to humanity? Spoiler, cooking triggered a brain explosion.
Brains exploded?
Metaphorically, brain size rapidly increased. And for a reason, cooking. One last thing before we go. Right now, at this very moment, we're all standing on 2 legs. When we commute, when we go to the bathroom, when we walk around. But think about this. 7 million years ago, when some ape first stood on 2 legs, how weird must that have looked? Every other animal was on all 4s. And here's this one, wobbling around on 2 legs. They probably laughed. What's that idiot doing? Why is he so unstable? But that weird behavior eventually created a species that sent people to the moon, invented the internet, and developed artificial intelligence.
That's kind of moving.
Right? Every great human invention started out looking ridiculous. Standing on 2 legs, chipping stones, making fire, cooking food. All of it probably got the reaction, why are they doing that?
So things we think are weird now.
Yep. 7 million years from now, they might be normal.
Like what?
Living on Mars? Talking to AI? Brain implants? Right now, they seem strange. But in the future, they might be as normal as walking upright.
7 million years is too long. I won't be around.
That's okay. Thanks to bipedalism, we get to live 70 to 80 interesting years. All right, that's it for today. Standing on 2 legs is uncomfortable, painful, and dangerous. But it was the first revolution that made humans human. As you walk around today on your 2 legs, think about that brave ape 7 million years ago who first stood up. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
When's my back gonna feel better?
Go see a doctor.
Next time, fire and cooking. Grab some chicken and wait for it. You know what surprised me most while preparing this episode? Bipedalism took 5 million years. We usually think one day someone just stood up. But no. It started 7 million years ago and happened slowly, moving between trees and ground, changing the pelvis, changing the ankle, changing the spine over 5 million years. That's what evolution really looks like. Not dramatic, just slow. But those slow changes accumulated and eventually created humanity. Next time, we'll talk about another slow change, controlling fire and starting to cook. Stay tuned.